Hi, the last few weeks I've been helping my mum with decluttering her house, and I really wanted to talk about it today because I realised how much it affects our mood, our mental health, our well-being, and it got me talking with friends about it and actually realising how different personalities struggle to declutter their homes. Often when houses become really cluttered, it's to do with mental health problems, you've had a severe illness, and then it actually perpetuates because the more you look at it and the more the house gets busy and gets cluttered, the more you use emotional and mental time, you actually start to feel mentally exhausted just thinking about it. And then this cycle hits in. And if you have depression, and I've had depression in the past, so I do totally understand, and you just look at it and you can make yourself ill, more ill, worrying about it, and you still don't actually physically are able to do anything about it. So sometimes I think when it gets to that stage we have to ask for help, family, friends, and I know how hard that is because we never want to admit we need help. But equally, if you find a little chink somewhere where you think you can start, then I'm hoping I can give you some tips and ideas on how to do that in a way that supports you and your mental health and your well-being. So I think one of the first things to remember, decluttering is not organising. So many times we move things around and we'll buy another box, we'll get another storage box, we'll get another shelf, we'll put these on there, when actually we've just got too much stuff. And I think once we accept that, then we're ready to start the process. So where do you start? And that is one of the hardest things. And I would start with something really small. Look at either allowing yourself 5 minutes. Time yourself. We've got timers on our phones and things now. So literally set a timer and go to a drawer. I think one of the easiest things to do is, I don't know if you have pen pots, but you know you shove all your pens in them. Do that. Just scribble them all on a bit of paper, see which ones are working, see which ones you want to keep, because it's amazing how many of those we accumulate. And if you've got tons that work and they're fine, you can give them away. You don't have to keep them. Just because something works doesn't mean we have to keep it. So how many are you going to actually use? And in that 5 minutes, I bet you can have seen how many of those are working, put the ones you're going to keep back in and the ones you're going to get rid of. So that, again, it's just a tiny little win. So the next day, could you do 10 minutes on a timer? Perhaps put on some music, because I always find music lifts my spirits. And if I'm singing along, the time goes a lot quicker. And then one of the other things I obviously like to do is, if I've had a really good session, I can have a glass of wine or a glass of Prosecco, or maybe I'll watch a film, a favourite film, a little treat as a reward. So when I'm starting to look at things, I think the first place I would do, if the whole house is in disarray, start with your bedroom. Make yourself somewhere tranquil, somewhere where you can go and relax, where it's calm. Because if you can't sleep and you can't get, somewhere where you've got that peace, then that's going to be really hard then to have the energy to actually tackle the rest of the house. So I would always start with the bedroom first. And if it just means washing your sheets, so it's clean and fresh, and you look forward to getting into bed, and then you get rest, then you'll cope better with the rest of it. So bin bags, your best friend. You're going to start, and I would go with ones with things to throw away, things to donate, and things you want to keep. And when it comes to keeping, I love watching, I've watched videos, is it Maria Kondo, the lady, where she goes, do you love it? And you have to, do you need it? And I think that's a really good one, and I was doing it with Mum this week, because it's like, you know, she said to me, well, I do feel guilty because I don't want you to have to all deal with it, you and your sisters, when I'm dead. And I just thought, gosh, do I really want my son to have to deal with what I've left behind when I'm gone? So I am very conscious about what I hold on to now. So when we first started that process, she was really resistant. So I also had a pile of well, let's think about it. So that pile, we took things away and we put them in the garage. And after 2 or 3 days, I'd say to her, have you missed anything in the bags? Can you remember? Can you tell me what they are? We had a really good laugh about it. And after a few days, she says, I don't know why I'm resisting. I'm not missing any of these things. And then she started, I was a bit like, woo, steady, Mum. You don't have to throw everything away. But it was we made it into a fun process. And also, we decorated her room, one of the rooms, for her at the same time. And just seeing how much space she got, how fresh, and it smelled lovely. And now she wants to do the whole house, so I've got myself a job there. But again, she'd just got tired and exhausted, and again, it was just playing on her mind. But the more she thought about it, the more paralysed she became. So what do I do where I can tackle a room, if you like? I find it's quite good to sort of think of compartments in a room. So say it's a bedroom. Maybe there's clothes everywhere. So let's just deal with the clothes first. Go in, wash the clothes that are on the floor, and then we can start to go through them all. And a good way of doing that is, if you find it really hard to part with them, is turn all the coat hangers the opposite way round. So when you take something out and you use it and you've worn it and you've enjoyed wearing it, then you put it back with the coat hanger the other way. And then at the end of the season, you know, winter, summer, spring, whatever, look and think, well, I didn't wear that, and I didn't wear that, and I didn't wear that. So they're the things that you need to get rid of. It's also really fun to have a trying on session and just see, and don't get depressed if nothing fits you, and don't keep them for when you're gonna be that size, especially if we're talking a few sizes. If something's a little bit tight, fine. But if it's that way, you just know you're hanging on to it because it was a nice memory, or that was a time in your life when you felt good. I get that. If there are special items, you can memory box them, or you can just allow yourself a very small box where you can put those away. And that's fine too. There are no rules. This is your home and your life, but you also want to make it a home. So what else can we do? Let's look at asking a friend, because I actually like decluttering. It's something I find quite easy to do, and not everybody feels like that at all. So I will often volunteer to go and help friends do it. And they will laugh because I do the, do you love it? Do you need it? Can we do this? And I also find that it's quite good to put things away for a car boot. Now that's okay if you're disciplined enough to be able to go to the car boot and sell them without going, oh, well, I'll take that home again, I'll take that home again. If you can't do that, they need to go to the charity shop, and then it's gone. Like I said, if you're worrying that you're going to get rid of things you might want, then you're allowed to put them away in a box. Put them in a garage, put them in a spare room somewhere for 1 month. And then if you've not forgotten, you've forgotten all about it, don't go back in there and look, then that goes to the charity shop as well. And that way I find it's an easy process. And the other really good way of looking at things is, if somebody offered you some money for it, thinking about the car boot, would you take it? So if you were prepared to sell that, then perhaps you don't really need it. And the other thing is, if you lost it or broke it, would you go out and replace it tomorrow? And if you wouldn't, you don't need it. So looking at this thing again about decluttering rather than organising. But there does come to a point when you're going through the process and you've done your bags, you've done your drawers, you've done your time, that there comes to a point where you do need to organise. And I think if you've got a system going, I'm going to show you some of one of my favourite things. I love these little sectional drawers. They are so good for socks, because I tell you one thing, when you sort your sock drawer out, you'll find there's always odd ones. I don't know what world they go off to live in, but it's in a parallel universe and in this one. So they're great for socks, bras, pants, you name it. You even roll up t-shirts and put them in, and there are loads of different organising ones. Same with shoes. So once you've really pared it down, then I think it is a good idea to have lovely organised places where you look in a drawer and everything you want is there. You look in your wardrobe, everything, your hangers are all, you know, in one place. Even I got matching hangers. And that was, again, it was just how it looked for me. It works with my brain, but I do get that we are all different. So again, don't beat yourself up. If you manage just cleaning your pen pot out that day, what a fantastic result. And if you manage 5 minutes that day, that's great, because I think if you just decided every day to do 5 or 10 minutes, it's a process, it's a continual process, and it's ongoing. But once you've done it, you don't have to think about it anymore for the day. Give yourself permission to have that treat. Go out for a walk, you know, do those fun things. But I'm just going to finish on the last bits, because I think the family things are the hardest things to part with. You know, if you've been given gifts, wedding gifts is one thing. Let's talk about inappropriate gifts that you're never going to use, but you feel if they come around, you've got to put them out on the side. You don't have to. And then there's the sentimental things. There's the childhood things. There's their first shoes, their first baby grower, and then their first, and it can go on and on and on. There's a grandparent that's died, or a parent that's died, and you've cleared their house, and that was mum's favourite tea set, or that was dad's favourite this. But like I said earlier, I don't want to burden my son with a load of stuff that I know he won't ever use or want. So why don't I just keep the things that I love? And then I have photographed certain things that belong to my grandparents. I've got one thing I think of my dad's that's really special to me. Do I need them to remember him? No, I don't. Do I have any guilt about letting things go now? No, I don't, because I know they wouldn't want to burden me with things that I didn't need or want, and that your mental health and your well-being is more important than any item that's cluttering your home up. So just imagine when you have a clutter-free home, you'll have a clutter-free mind, you'll start to feel better in yourself, and then things can become a joy. And don't worry if you go off the rails, or if the depression comes back, or if you feel you can't cope, or you're poorly again. That happens. And it's a process, like I say. You will get through it. You can ask for help. Hopefully you've got a friend that you can talk to. I say, because I enjoy the process, I'm always happy to go and spend time with my friends. I get as much satisfaction as seeing their rooms lovely and tidy, seeing how much it helps them. So what you need is a friend in your life that enjoys doing it. But ask. And then even if they're a long way away, but they still enjoy the process, you could photograph your achievement every day and send it to them. So that little bit of accountability of, I did my 5 minutes and this is what I did. Let them be a cheerleader for you and let them help the process. But I'm going to finish on one thing. Would you rather manage a home that's full of rubbish, clutter, or would you rather it was just a home, a sanctuary, and a place that you can rest, play, love, enjoy? And I hope there's some tips in there that you can take something from. Best of luck. Thank you.